Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome back. So, a lot of people I'm friends with and follow on BookTube are doing a 50 before 50, um, basically a pile of possibilities, books that they plan to read. So, I'm contributing my part. I do have my own caveats for this. Uh, it does have to be all physical books that I own. I also did not include any of the pile of possibility books that I plan to do for quarter 3 and 4 of Historathon. So all but I think one of these are going to be fiction. Also, to cheat a little bit, I just posted a video of Pride recommendations for Pride Month, and instead of doing recommendations in my TBR, I did a huge pile of possibilities for that as well. And so I thought instead of wasting half of my 50 by 50 books on those, I would not include those. So that is a complete separate video, so you can watch that if you want, and I'll post that down below. So without including my other videos for piles of possibilities, these are the ones that I chose to include for this. I've seen it on a couple of people's channels, but as far as I know, the one that was starting this and stuff for our group anyway was Brian the Caustic. So I will post his video down below as well. So since this will probably be a long video, since I do have all 50 of my books, I'm just going to get right into it. I'm not going to give a whole spiel about each book or anything. Obviously, since I haven't read them, it would just be reading from the back of it anyway. So I'm just going to basically share what I know about it, or otherwise it will just be the cover. So I guess I'll start over here. So this is And the Trees Stare Back by Gigi Griffiths. And so I did start this one because it takes place in Estonia, and I had the hardest time finding a book from an author from Estonia to include with my Read Around the World project that I've been working on. So this is my kind of dipping my toes into that, and it is a YA horror novel set during the Soviet Union era of Estonia. Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and I did read 100 Years of Solitude by him this year, and so this one has been on my list to read as well, so I'm putting it here. Let the Great World Spin by Cullum McCann, and this is basically just a whole bunch of stories coming together in the heart of New York City. So it's kind of up my alley and things that I am interested in, and it has always sounded good. I've had that on my list for a while now. Memoirs of Hadrian by Margaret Senar. And so this was actually on my pile of possibilities that I did not include, but had kind of wanted to for quarter 1. So it is historical fiction. So it's not breaking my nonfiction rule. But anyway, there's that one. The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien, and this is about Vietnam, and I believe that this was it should be fiction rather than nonfiction about it, but I honestly, I guess now I don't really know, but it's been on my list, and I do have another Tim O'Brien in here as well. The next one, Unveiled by Carolyn Morgan. I had the hardest time finding a copy of this book. I've been wanting it for a long time. It is Strozzi's masterpiece, The Veiled Virgin, basically a historical fiction novel about him and the piece in general. It's a beautiful sculpture. You'll see it's all over the place here. These next three will be, they're actually were gifted by Angelina over at Books Do Things to Me. But this is My Armenian Friend by Andre McKean. This is White Moss by Anna Nurkagi. And I'm interested, especially in this one, because it is one of the indigenous tribes in Russia. And you don't get to hear a whole lot about them. And without trying to read into it, yeah, so it's just one of the Russian indigenous tribes there, is the author. Alamut by Vladimir Bartol. We were going to do a buddy read, but we didn't get around to it, so this will be something that I am going to read in the next few years, hopefully as a buddy read with her. This one is Waterline by Aram Merjoyan, and this is also about an Armenian family, but this is set in Michigan, which is where I'm from, and takes place along Lake Michigan, which is also where I'm near. So I'm really excited about this one. It is actually a Michigan author who wrote this book. And this one also has been on my list forever. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. I have had it on my list for a long time, but I actually don't really know what it's about. Otherwise, it's just so it's a coming of age story at the turn of the 20th century, and that's what it says on the back, and that's pretty much all I know, except everybody always talks about it. This one has also been on my list for a while. The Tennis Partner by Abraham Verghese. This is The Gift of Rain by Tan Tuan Eng. I've already read 2 of his books, and I really loved The Garden of Evening Mists by him. And then he also wrote another one, The House of Doors. And that one is about M. Somerset Maugham, or W. Somerset Maugham. And so this one was on my list since I read those 2, and something I'm really excited about because it's all set in Malaysia, but this is the Japanese invasion, or pre the Japanese invasion of Malaysia. Continuing reading Alexander Dumas. This is one I haven't read by him before, George. This is also the kind of a inspiration for continuing on with the story of like retribution and stuff, and he kind of made it much bigger with the Count of Monte Cristo, but this is kind of when he first started exploring, and it's like a depiction of his dad's sort of story of how he kept getting wronged, and if he would have come back and got vengeance on the people who did him wrong, type of thing. So it was always something in Dumas' mind, trying to avenge his father. And so this was his first exploration of that. So I am excited for that one as well. This one is St. Petersburg by Andre Bailey. This one I know I should have read a long time ago. Watership Down by Richard Adams. I just don't want to knock any of these over as I'm grabbing them. This is Good People by Patmina Sibit, and this is a Afghani woman author. The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. I've actually read a few of her books as well, but this one is about the Spanish Civil War. This one is The Fertility of Evil by Amara Lackhouse. And this is an Algerian author set in Algeria. And it's also, I think, during... I thought it was historical fiction, but it's actually contemporary fiction. This is a new release this year, so I had been excited, but I just haven't read it yet. This one has been on my list for a long time, and I could have probably included it on my Pride TBR, but I wasn't sure, since I haven't read it, if it does for sure have elements with LGBT plus representation. I'm pretty sure it does, but since I'm not sure, I included it in this video. And this is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. And I've not read anything by Becky Chambers before, but I've always heard her being described as like the cozy sci-fi stuff, and I enjoy cozy fantasy, so I'm sure that I really enjoy this, as well as a huge family, our found family aspect within that. This is Mary Renault's book, The King Must Die, and this is a retelling of the myth of Theseus, and I love mythology, so that one. I also really love Elizabeth Gaskell, and I have not read Sylvia's Lovers yet. This next one is my first, and I think only for sure, nonfiction book. And this is Of Wolves and Men by Barry Lopez. I also do need to read his Arctic Dreams, but I did not include that here. But I guess either one of those would be on this list. Another one that I am very disappointed I haven't read yet was Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. And this is very, very influential and important novel for American or world literature, but African literature particularly. And it's the first of a trilogy. So I only have this one available, but I would like to continue to read on, and I'm sorry for all my missteps here. This is The Cloud Atlas by Liam Callanan. This one I also didn't realize was historical fiction either. I always thought it was pure fantasy and stuff, but this also takes place in Alaska during World War II. Ordinary People by Judith Guest. That and Love Medicine by Louise Edrich. These two have always come up on some of the 100 great books or something that you have to read. So I've had these for a while that I've always wanted to read. I just haven't read any, and I actually haven't read any of Louise's stuff, but I do have several of her books. Another one, Heaven Has No Favorites, and this is by Eric Maria Remarque. It's one of the few that I still have to read from him, and the only one I have a physical copy of that I haven't read yet. So that's the one that I put on the list, but there are some that I still want to read, I just don't have physical copies of. This was the other Tim O'Brien book. This is Going After Chikado. I actually don't know how to pronounce that name, and there's a sticker on it. But it's right here would be better. And this is more of a fantasy-ish book involving the Vietnam War. I kind of, when I read the synopsis of it, reminded me of what would have maybe been a Kurt Vonnegut take on it. So like, think Slaughterhouse-Five or something like that. A lot of wacky stuff happens. Very anti-war story. Absolutely have to read Beloved. I actually have not read any Toni Morrison, so I do want to for sure read this one. And I will be reading more of hers, but that's the one I have a physical copy of. Margaret Atwood, Handmaid's Tale. I keep talking about this and I keep putting it off because I liked the idea when it was dystopian and not when it's almost nonfiction. So this one will be much later when I finally get around to reading this. This one also has, because I buy a lot of these used, so this one also has marks and stuff on it. But this is The Appointment in Samara by John O'Hara. So a fictionalized death, so his appointment is with death. So it should be interesting. Mrs. Dalloway, I still have not read much. Virginia Woolf, the only one I've read was her nonfiction, Room of One's Own. So I do need to remedy that and start reading some of her fiction. The Tartar Steppe by Dino Buzzati. This one is also a trilogy, so I do have just the first one of this one here. This is The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper. This is also historical fiction taking place in the town of Pompeii prior to the volcano eruption and the destruction of the city. So you kind of get to understand the city inhabitants and stuff, but it follows a brothel. So the main characters are women who work at the brothel. The German Lesson by Siegfried Lenz. The Sympathizer by Viet Tong Young. I don't know how to pronounce that last name for sure. And then Homeseeking by Carissa Chen. I'm really excited about this one. This one is a intergenerational. It also takes place in Shanghai, but it deals with the revolutions and stuff there. I believe it was the Tiananmen Square and stuff that it mentions and stuff like that. So just a bunch of sweeping Chinese history here. Last pile. Poa and the Soul Stealer by Lori M. Lee. This is a Laotian author, and it's a fantasy novel, YA. But I have been wanting to read around the world, and I do have a bunch of Hmong, the mountain peoples, like nonfiction essays and short stories and stuff, but this will be my first story, novel or whatever, from that area. This one is a big one, and I have shown this one before, but I still haven't read it. And it's probably going to, I hope it doesn't reflect too much, but this is A Suitable Boy, and it's by Vikram Seth. So maybe that's a little bit better. I'm not sure if you can even read it. Life in Fate by Vasily Grossman. I want to read his other one as well, Stalingrad, but that would not fit here. It would be in one of my Historathon pile of possibilities, but I also don't have the physical copy of that one. This is Bark Skins by Annie Proulx. I don't know how to say her name either. And so that one's probably gonna be really bad to see as well. So I'm hoping that you can see it without the reflection, so that you can pronounce it better than me. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I actually also have his newer book, but I did not include that here because this one has been on my TBR longer, and I have not read any of his stuff. So this will be my first, and then I'll make it on to the other one. Same with R.K. Kwong. I have not read Babel, but I also have Catabasis, or whatever that one's called. I do want to read this one first. This is Glass Palace, and this one takes place during the British invasion in 1885 of Burma, or the Kingdom of Burma. Almost done. Flashlight by Susan Chow, or Choi. That one there. Not to drop any of these. Almost there. The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker, and this is a retelling, feminist retelling of Homer's stuff. So I don't remember specifically if it's the, yeah, it does look like it's the Iliad. I wasn't sure if it was going to be the Iliad or the Odyssey, but it is the Iliad, and it has also been on my TBR since apparently 2018. Another one I have not read that I'm really disappointed in myself for is the graphic novel. This is both parts of Mouse, and this was by Art Spiegelman. I hope that's not reflecting either. Last two. The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and I also do need to read The Goldfinch. I do want to start here though. And my last one is one that I also feel bad I haven't read yet, and that's Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. And I've also had this one since 2017, so I do need to read that one as well. I have just over like 5.5 years to try to read all of these, so doable, but you never know, because it's not like our TBRs ever get smaller, they only ever get bigger. But anyway, here are my 50 before 50 books. I hope you found it interesting and maybe found some new books. If you have read any of them, please let me know if I should prioritize any of them over the others. Thank you, and as always, happy reading.